So we're going to look at another one of the prevalent weeds in my garden. Now, I believe this one's called small flowered cranesbill, part of the geranium family. But again, like the creeping cinquefoil, it's a real pain. Spreads quite quickly. Spreads via seeds. And, you know, if you mow your lawn frequently and keep it low, you might be lucky and keep the seed heads off. But as you can see, they're all starting to come into flower. So the good news is that you can weed them quite easily if the soil's wet. The bad news is, on my lawn, which is a fair size, there's a lot of them. So it takes a bit of time. So my strategy is to walk up and down the garden every day and wait for the pink flowers and then pull them out. Or spend half an hour a day just like picking the weeds out of the garden. They seem to have gone mental again, so I've got quite a lot. So this is the easy way to do them, really, is if you find the centre of them, which is kind of down here for this one. Then if you feel just by the surface there's like a node that you can just get your thumb and forefinger around, and if you just work it up gently, you can normally get the root with it. So there we have a creeping buttercup. My lawn's on not a very nice soil, so it's not got great nutrients. So there's another one. Let's see if we can find some bigger ones. But even the little ones, when they start to flower, if you leave them, then you've got like 1,000 more next year for each one. So here's a good sized one here, look. So it's got a few arms on it. So you just get right down, wiggle your fingers slightly under the top of the soil and you'll feel it. It's like a little nodule. That one snapped a bit, but this bit here is down here. You can just get your fingers under there to pull it out. And there you can just, if the soil's wet, you can get most of the root out. Now, at some stage I did think this was herb robber, but I'm not sure it is. I don't think it is actually. Give it a wiggle, pull it out. There's the root. Look, you can see my soil's not great. I've got moss problem as well. I have scarified it last year. That one's come out beautifully, so that's not going to be a problem next year. Just make sure you dispose of them, not in your compost heap, but in your garbage, wherever you burn it or throw it away. So they do come out easily. They are a problem. They're everywhere in my lawn. You don't have to look far to find weeds of all sorts. So that looks like bird's foot trefoil there. I'm becoming an expert on weeds in my garden. I'm pretty sure that is in amongst this. But they do come out fairly easily if the soil's wet. So a bit of perseverance, a few minutes every day. I must have picked thousands of these out by hand by now. That one broke. So I'll have to deal with him later on, or next year, when he tries to come up again. And that one is a bit of crabgrass as well in my lawn. It's come out okay. So yeah, just keep going. As you can see, they're everywhere. It's a tireless battle, but put some good feed in your lawn, and hopefully don't cut your lawn too short as well, because the weeds like that. And then hopefully you'll get rid of them. But look, in just a short space of time, we've got already a good sized cluster, and there's plenty more where that came from. So it's like a 10-minute effort just to get this not out of my garden. I mean, it's endless, but I think it's the only way to do it. I'm worried that if I do scarify, that I don't know whether I think I'm going to spread things like the other weeds I've got in my garden. So at the moment I'm just trying to keep them down to a minimum.